Three, two, one. Okay, well, welcome to episode 17 of Trangirlismo. We took a break to do an easy bonus episode, and as is tradition when you have a podcast about current events, so many events currented.
They don't stop coming.
I am your host, Victoria Scott. I am here with my co-host.
Hi, my name is Jordan Hofstetter. My pronouns are she and her.
Oh yeah, my
I
pronouns are
outwoke
also
you
she
this
and her.
week. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to unwoke us with liking a Ferrari as we get to it. And even then, not to give away the whole ball game, I don't even like it that much. I just think it's not bad. And I think all of you are being big fucking crybabies over nothing. It's fine. It's fine. I'm a big crybaby over nothing all the time. I was on a podcast to talk about how Destiny going away made me sad. So
That was actually sad, though.
it is because listeners, I was on Aftermath in our little break. The good folks over at Aftermath. To talk about Forza Horizon, which I actually don't know if Nathan Grayson understood that I was not playing Horizon 6,
Yeah.
but I got to keep to my BDS guns and mostly talk about the history of the franchise, which is what I was more into. I think by the time this is up, I will have a thing on the Patreon talking about Forza Horizon 1 and kind of the endless summer 2012 that is a portal into. So that's fun. Victoria, what did you do with our little break? Other than shoot an orgy on slide film.
I did shoot an orgy on slide film. I went to the Connections Museum and shot
An orgy on slide film in the museum.
No. I did a bunch of shoots for Pollination, which a bunch of people did give me money to buy a slide film with, which I appreciate because I am using it all. I am single-handedly. Kodak is going to have a note in their investor documentation for this quarter of we are seeing extremely strong demand from one transsexual in the city of Seattle from the Ektachrome line. You're welcome, Kodak. Again, I will sell out immediately if you'd like to sponsor the show.
We should just send him an email.
I also shipped out all of our shirts and bumper stickers this week, which is cool. So everybody will be getting those. The only thing that's left are the people who ordered prints, which I'm going to start printing this weekend. Those are just a very involved process that involves putting Bert in the bedroom. So they have to be done in a single block because otherwise he will get paw prints all over my very, very nice metallic paper. I also need to print some pictures from a certain woman's wedding, just because, shooting black and white film at a wedding is a power move, and
it's really good.
Oh yeah. Also, I hope you all enjoyed 2-hour main feed shows because I don't see any way we're getting out of here without a very long episode. Because again, things keep happening. But if you did order a shirt and a sticker, thank you. We shipped to 3 continents. We also shipped to New Zealand. There's going to be Trangirlismo merch all across the world, which does fill me with a sense of joy.
It's good. I think Victoria and I were talking about it where we do see everyone who missed out on the first round of shirts and stickers, and we hear you, and we don't want to go to a we don't want to drop ship shirts. That's basically what we're trying not to do, but of course trying to do
I ordered
shirts.
all the stickers. I ordered all the stickers in bulk because it was the only way to get ones that I knew would last for automotive applications, which I anticipated some people would want. And the shirts are made by a trans lady in the city of Seattle, and so I want to do that again. Also, they fit great. I'm so excited for everybody to get them.
We're talking about what our next merch drop is going to look like, and also because we printed 0 extra shirts. We printed the exact amount
correct.
ordered. So we don't have extra shirts to sell you right now. I guess is the thing I am clarifying. So I think we'll figure it out. We'll do another round of black shirts. Maybe we'll do some white shirts for after Labor Day.
Don't drink coffee.
Don't drink coffee. Don't have cats of dark hair. Aren't planning on wrenching in it.
Yeah. But in any case, yeah, so thank you to all of you for that. And now that the official bookkeeping is done with our listeners, uh, unfortunately, we have to start the episode with another bad vibe section, uh, because there was a massive loss for the racing world while we were gone, in that Kyle Busch passed away from pneumonia, which is just like extremely young at the age of 41, which was just incredibly one startling and surprising, and two just really tragic.
Yeah, because he had won a race like 7 days previous, which like
Yeah,
what did I text you? 41 scares the shit out of me.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no way to die at 41. I mean, it's also this isn't how you expect racing drivers to drop dead, you know?
No, no, not at
You
all.
like it's, rest in peace Ken Block, but like Ken Block died doing Ken Block things. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. Yeah,
Uh Kyle Busch just dropping dead of pneumonia doesn't sit right. And also like, sepsis is another thing that I think should scare the shit out of everyone all the time forever.
yeah,
So yeah, hey, if you're sick and you just seem to not be getting better, maybe go to a different doctor. Maybe go to a
yeah,
different ER. Like, I don't know.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is it progressed very rapidly, and he's got a wife and two really young kids that are left behind now, which is really extremely heartbreaking because he was really young.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is worth like noting his career. He over the course of his life, he basically made a case to be considered one of the greatest race car drivers of all time. And there's a solid argument that he's the greatest NASCAR driver who's ever lived.
Yeah, he's he was such an in the kind of clean for TV era of NASCAR. He was the only person who realized that playing into being the heel when he was winning a lot would be like he's the only person who played the villain on TV that I actually think got what he was doing in NASCAR in a way where it's just
Yeah.
like I think a lot of racing drivers when they get pinned into the heel role because they're either winning too much or whatever, I feel like they get hurt about it. When Kyle Busch got his heel run, he was just like, "Yay, yeah, I'm gonna embrace it. I'm gonna embrace it. You all are going to love this shit." Um,
One of the favorite ways I saw him memorialized after his death was announced was Blue Sky mutual follower of mine posted the like 45-minute Kyle Busch swearing in his car radio highlight reel, which was just very much like he wanted to win. He did not really like he was less concerned with other people's opinions of him than he was with like necessarily winning, and he didn't do that at the expense of being like a bad person. Like everything that I've seen from everybody who ever met him was that he was like an incredibly kind, generous person. He was always very like personable. He mentored like as he was getting older, he was mentoring a lot of people who were kind of like coming up in NASCAR. And so like he had mellowed a bit with time, but that didn't really seem like it was even that much of a switch for him. It just NASCAR's just different now. He had always just kind of been a really nice guy. There was a story that Alanis King wrote for Road and Track that I'm going to link in the show notes, and I really highly recommend people read it because she was a huge fan of his. He was the driver that got her into NASCAR at the age of like 12 because again, he started when he was supposed to start racing when he was 16 years old, and they wouldn't let him do it because they still had a cigarette sponsorship.
mm-hmm.
And so he had to wait till he was 18. I mean, like he raced for his entire life, but she was a fan of his, and then became a journalist, interviewed him a bunch, and described him as very generous at this time, an absolute sweetie. And she did like a very, very incredibly moving eulogy for him, and I really recommend reading it because like she actually like knew him better than either of us do for sure.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
I never met the man, but yeah, him and his brother were just such a they were they were the excitement for so long in NASCAR.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't watching the races, when it was a big Kurt or Kyle Busch weekend, I would watch the NASCAR radio highlight YouTube video they'd put out, because
Yeah.
I knew both of them would be saying some shit.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know, the bow every time
Oh
he
yeah.
won. The bow is
Yeah.
just so good. I saw that everyone did it this weekend after his passing. I fucking yeah, I feel my heart goes out to everyone in who's a fan of NASCAR, or even just like, hell, he helped like get Bubba Wallace his start. Like,
Yeah.
this man was like, yeah, I've never he's a very NASCAR drivers and wrestlers are very of a pair to me. We've had this
Yes.
discussion before where it's just like, they are real athletes who are playing characters. And even though, NASCAR's not scripted, probably. Uh some people have argued otherwise over the years, but you know, do I want someone like Kyle Busch who is both going to be like the pantomime villain when it is appropriate for him to do so, but also like he's the happy guy who just wants to ride the M&M's car into victory lane? Or am I gonna like Kyle Busch, the guy who has the biggest chip on his shoulder and also, once again, lost his job for saying the N-word?
Oh, you mean Kyle Larson?
Oh, what did I say? Kyle Busch again?
You said Kyle Busch.
Yeah, no. There are too many Kyles. Well,
Yeah.
one less Kyle. That sucks. That's bad. Kyle Larson was just the worst. And Kyle Larson's chip on his shoulder era where he's saying that he's a better race car driver than Max Verstappen because Max Verstappen won't do the chili bowl is just one of those like, being American has melted your brain, Mr. Larson. That's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Whereas Bush like just genuinely seems like he was like, a really good guy.
his
It's an extreme bummer.
his last race win,
And it's also not fair at all. I don't know.
his last race win, him, he knew he was sick, obviously, because he had pneumonia. But like, his last race win, his interview and like afterwards is actually really unnerving, because it's him talking about like, you don't know when the next one is going, or the next one's gonna come, or when it's gonna be the last one. So you just gotta
Yeah.
celebrate them all, which I think
Yeah.
is a really good note to sign off on him with. Yeah, it's just one of those
Yeah.
things where I came out of a podcast recording and it was be like, oh, Kyle Busch died, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And also just because I feel like it's worth mentioning, 234 career wins across the 3 top series of NASCAR, which was significantly more than anyone else in history has ever had. Across those 3 series, he led 47,968 laps, which is straight up fucking superhuman.
It's really
And
crazy.
19 straight seasons with a cup win, which is also more than anyone else in history. Like a combination of like longevity, and like this is what's such a bummer about it is that, I mean, there are many levels of it that are a bummer, but like he was still winning. He was like there was no like warning that this was going to happen. He was still winning. He was still a really good driver. He still had probably a lot more seasons in him.
He was gonna be
And,
like
he
one of those
passed out.
guys doing ARCA at his 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's what it should have been, because he just loved racing, and it's just a loss for his family and like the sport at large, and it just sucks. I think it was Brad Keselowski. I didn't put the link in our notes, but I saw Brad Keselowski say something to the effect of, I feel like the Coyote has like lost the Roadrunner, or vice versa, basically, where like, the two of them had sparred a lot on track, but it was very much within the context of like, we have this racing rivalry that is like entertaining, and we both kind of enjoy doing it, and the one half of the pairing doesn't really make sense without the other. And like, that seemed like a very good way to put it. It's just like, it's a massive loss for everybody that kind of like raced with him too. because he was such an incredible competitor.
It's going to feel very empty without him there. And
Hmm.
yeah, they're retiring his number until his son is ready to race, which I think is
That's
cute.
exactly the yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly the right move. And yeah, I just feel really bad for his family and all of his like teammates and everything because they were planning to race like the next weekend. I mean, it was just they had it was just shocking. So that happened first of all, which was just kind of wildly unexpected for basically everybody. I think
It's
it
just
seemed like pretty
jarring.
much everyone was.
Yeah.
It is jarring. I mean, like I don't know. I think about this whenever anybody dies underneath the age of 70, as I'm like, that's not fair. That's and at the age of 41 is just incredibly not fair. Um,
Also, it's always tough to see someone die of just a preventable illness,
it
you
it
know?
feels yeah no it doesn't feel like that should be a thing that people have to suffer with anymore. I don't know.
Especially
It
not
was
when
just very
you have been NASCAR rich your entire life, basically.
yeah.
Like, it
Well,
just
and I
goes
mean
to
the thing
show,
is
like, take care of yourself.
he like they called the ambulance when he was in the simulator because he passed out while he was like practicing for the upcoming race. I mean like I he it's it is very much one of those things. It's just like I look forward to the day when people don't drop dead young from things that we should be able to catch. But we very much still live in that era, and it's just unfair and miserable.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I felt like we had to talk about it because I mean the entire motorsports world is completely changed now.
Truly, completely. And it was and over motorsports like Memorial Day weekend too, which is just like
Yeah,
it cuz it did feel very odd having Montreal and not Monaco be part of the best day in
yeah,
motor racing, but that it did feel, I mean, Canada's a better race than Monaco, so at least that was kind of nice. But
yeah,
a bunch of the Indy teams all ran tributes to him. I believe at least one of the F1 teams did as well. So I'm
yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah.
a international loss. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I will I'll reiterate that I'm going to link Alanis' story, and it's really good, and you should really read it
Mhm.
if you want to. If you don't know anything about him and you want to understand like why this was a huge loss, she does an incredible job of laying it out, and it's a very beautifully written story. I
Yeah.
was extremely emotional reading it.
It
Um,
was a beautiful piece.
but okay, no good segue because that's just all around a huge bummer. But we do have good news for once. We have something fun. And this time it is personal. This time it is not. No, we the material circumstances have not affected the show. The Omni crisis has not devoured us all. Something just good without strings attached happened. Jordan, do you want to tell us what it is?
My wife and I leased a new car.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah, our Sentra is leaving us. AKA I need to clean that out and put a private party sale together because that car is worth more money than I thought it was, which means I need to put an ad together, which means hello listeners, if you would like a 2021 Nissan Sentra at the I know I listen to the show discount, let your girl know. My wife and I leased an Ioniq 5 because the
Which
6,
is
did you we were going to hold out for the 6 getting fixed on recall until we went to the dealership for Stella to drive to drive the Ioniq 5 to make sure it didn't feel too crossover huge for her, which
yeah,
it feels slightly taller than the last Golf I sat inside. Like
yeah.
it's not tall. That is a hatchback that is just a little gangly, you know. Um Victoria, do you want to know how many names they have on the list for their last Ioniq 6 once the recall and stop sale is over?
Well, I mean, given what I know about how manufacturers are leaving EVs by the wayside, no one wants sedans. I assume -5.
65 people are on that list to call for when they can sell that car.
But Jordan, I thought the invisible hand of the market would efficiently allocate resources to the vehicles people wanted the most.
I think it's all horseshit, dog. I think the economy's not to like the economy is fine, actually. I just don't think the economy is a thing that anyone actually has a firm agreement on. Because again, I think a lot of the problem with things is either like we are dealing with actual shortages for the first time since like the fucking 70s, and also no one in human history has ever been able to wrap their mind around how inflation works.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, things are bad, but also the car market just is stupid and is all going to explode. Anyways, we got an Ioniq 5. It's I keep comparing it to my first car, which was a hand-me-down '03 base model Elantra. And sure,
I think Hyundai may have gone through some changes in the intervening 23 years.
they sure did, but it feels like they went through 50 years of technological advancement, not 23.
That's fair. I mean, just to throw this out there, because my experience with I have never driven an Ioniq. I would really like to, but I never got to go on like a Hyundai press trip, and I didn't know anybody who had one until now. But I did drive the Kia EV6, which is built on the same eGMP platform, and the EV6 is such a nice car that it redefined what EVs could be for me mentally, and I've basically told everybody I've ever met who's like, I want something that's like kind of fun to drive and like, you know, good on range and not too expensive. I'm like, just go get a Kia EV6 or an Ioniq 5. Just drive them both and see which one you like better, because it's a matter of personal preference.
We liked the styling of the 5. We like the whole Ioniq 5. We have the updated for 26 one, which means it has the Tesla Yowie hole for the charger. And it came with all the adapters in the trunk, so I can charge wherever, baby. It's things I don't. Let's just get the things I don't like out of the way first.
All right, yeah.
Having to have an app for my car. It doesn't feel great, and I can't put my finger on exactly what's yucking my yum about that, but
the phone is where the bad things happen. So that's why I don't like apps for anything, is because that's where all of the things that give me anxiety and make me upset are, and my car isn't supposed to do that. Hey, at least it's not a Lucid app.
It's not a Lucid app. Ooh, boy. Weird car, Blue Sky. You bullied a man into buying a Lucid, and that's the worst thing anyone's done on Car Blue Sky. That's fucked. I can't believe you all did that to that nice man.
Yeah, the funniest thing was that he announced he bought that the day after, or the day before Jason Fensky from Engineering Explained dropped his big explainer video on how he had to get his car bought back because it was so unreliable and had so many problems with it. So I'm sure, I hope that goes well, but also, like, as a longtime Lucid apologist, even I'm kind of like, I don't know, dog.
Things I don't like. The app's fine. I just don't like having to use it. Charging still seems to be a crapshoot sometimes, but I think that's infrastructure and not the car.
It is.
There are enough either Tesla style chargers or just straight up Tesla chargers in the area that I'm not sweating it. We only have level 1 at the house, which is not great, but it is usually overnight enough to replenish all daily driving. So charging is not an overall issue, but I did text you that first day and be like, already having a charging issue isn't maybe inspiring the most confidence in me, but it's been fine.
Yeah, I had an
then.
EV9 that I had for a press trip, and I did a road trip with it, and charging was way more of a nightmare than I expected it to be. Part of this is because of charger incompatibility. Part of this is because Rivian is a big fat liar. And they were like, all of our chargers will be open to everybody as of like fall of 2025 or spring of 2025. Then they moved it to fall, and I had planned on using a Rivian charger. So I almost ended up stuck in Forks, Washington, living out my EV Twilight nightmare.
Is it? Oh yeah, Forks is Twilight, not Twin
It
Peaks. I
is.
was like,
Yeah, Forks is Twilight.
um, Hyundai dealerships still seem they seem baffled when people want the full electric still. They both the salesmen both could not believe that we didn't want to see anything else or anything bigger, and yet was complaining that they can't keep fives in stock. And I don't get, like, the car salesman mind is a fascinating place, and I can't claim to know exactly what is going on up there, but he seemed to both not understand why we wanted to go for a 5, not a 9 or a 6 or whatever the big huge one is.
I think it's the
The
9
nine's
or
up.
7.
The nine's
I don't
heinous.
remember.
It's a heinous piece of work design wise. But the amount of capacitive touch buttons really does blow. There's no getting around that. The big center touch screen, already I see every single fingerprint on it. That's not great. The drive mode selection looks like it's a knob, but it's actually a fucking button. And that is really bothering me. The regular steering is so numb, it almost borders on not dangerous, but it feels like there's a disconnection between the wheel and the front wheels in a way that does scare the shit out of me. However, sport steering all the time ain't no problem. Adds enough weight back that I know what it's doing and I can like feel it, so that's okay. And that's it negative wise. Legitimately.
That's solid. Yeah, if you're a car reviewer and that's your entire list, that's pretty solid for a modern car.
Yeah, like okay, so we got the SEL all-wheel drive, which was a higher trim level than we intended, but also 395 horse all-wheel drive Pennsylvania winters. There was a lot going for both me in there, and also I've never truly wanted all-wheel drive more than once in the winter up here, but like, why not?
Well, also, like, they can't keep them on lots, and so presumably you're kind of limited in what you can actually get.
They didn't have the original rear-wheel drive base one we were looking at, and like the lease rates weren't. There was $9,000 in cash on the hood of this thing, and they can't keep them in stock. The EV market still feels entirely disconnected from reality, but in a positive way for the consumer. Like, seriously, they don't know what they have and they want to get rid of them, and I don't understand why, because it's perfect.
Y'all ever heard about this thing called the Strait of Hormuz?
I don't know. They blew up where the engine oil comes from.
Jordan. I'm just gonna say, remind me, Jordan, how much engine oil does your car take?
None. The front frunk is also way too small. That's also fine. There's a crumple zone and like where the 12-volt battery is and everything up there. This is the first car I've driven from Hyundai in a really long time that I think if you took all the badges off, I would be stunned to think it's not like some way more expensive thing than it is, because it's so nice on the inside.
Yeah.
The level of materials they are working with at Hyundai now is nicer than the last like big 3 German cars I've been inside, which is one of those like, oh my god, right, a couple years ago you all went to BMW and Mercedes and Audi and just went to all of their chief designers and was like, hey, do you like Korean food? And also, what's a really big number that you all could think about? There's these beautiful machined aluminum paddles on the back of the wheel that set your regenerative braking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're so nice.
Yeah. Well, and this is also like, I think the one thing that I will say about like having been in like all the Kia stuff is that it does feel like actually somewhat forward looking. They are not just throwing enormous screen in the center of the car. It does feel like it's actually more tastefully integrated for the most part. And also like if you drive other EVs, even stuff that is priced at more, they still don't understand that like touch points should feel like you're paying 40 or 50 or $60,000 for a car. And so it's like, cool, I love my plastic extruded paddle.
Looking at you, Tesla. Yeah,
I mean, Tesla, I was thinking about GM with this. Like the
mm,
Blazer EV feels criminally cheap inside for a car that costs the exact same and is supposed to be in the same market segment.
yeah, allegedly.
Um,
It's such a nice car. I I didn't even drive it on the test drive because I was just sitting next to Stella and she was loving it, so I was just like, "All right, I'm not gonna have any beef with it." But um, I have been I've probably put in a good 100 miles behind the wheel now. I found some of my favorite roads in Pittsburgh. I don't know if I would be comfortable with the level of extra acceleration that the N would provide. Because a hard launch in sport with the all-wheel drive model is enough to give me that like pit of the tummy light nausea feeling.
yes.
And I don't get any of the reviewers who said that the regular base 5 feels numb or whatever, cuz maybe the sport steering is like a newer setting. But like that rack when it's in sport mode is the nicest like drive by wire rack I've ever touched. Um There is a road that is used here in Pittsburgh for the hill climb portion of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, and it's very empty all the time. So I went up and down that a couple of times, and dynamically, it's just a joy. It's playful. It feels heavy, but it doesn't feel like bloated. Like it's still light and nimble. It just every now and then when you're like asking it to stop, it's like or change direction quickly, it takes like a little bit more time than or it wants to push a little bit or break the wheels loose, which that thing slides good. That thing slides good. That's it's fun. Yeah, it's a joy. One pedal driving with regen all the way up feels incredibly intuitive. I really thought it was going to take more time for me to feel comfortable doing it all around town, but I am. It's nice to go out for a drive and literally break even on range. Not watch my range
Yeah.
dip at all because I was going like, I was using one pedal in full regen. That's lovely. Yeah, I'll probably have a more complete review at some point, but yeah, I can't imagine wanting more. Like there was part of me that like I saw an Ionic N the day that we were gonna go test drive it and maybe lease it, and I was just like, are we gonna feel bad about not going full N performance? And then I'm immediately like, no, 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 that would be stupid. Like I don't know what you even need all of that for. Like it is still our daily. But yeah.
Also, you get more range, I'm pretty sure, out of the SEL because the N is like the name of the game with performance EVs, and this is kind of like something I've said before, is that they get worse range,
Uh-huh.
and so you don't. You're basically paying for a fun toy more than you are a daily driver because like again, especially if you're charging on like level 1 overnight, you don't want to dip too deep into range all the time because you want to be able to replenish it overnight, and like that's I think that that's a smarter choice. Also, the thing that's cool with the Hyundais and the Kias, everything on the EGMP platform that I am a huge fan of, is that they're all 800-volt architecture. Because Hyundai was like, we're going to actually spend money developing this instead of doing a last minute, the U.S. government held a gun to our head, we're going to build a compliance car EV.
Uh-huh.
Um, General Motors.
Uh-huh.
And so it implies good things about the longevity of the car, especially if you're not fast charging all the time, because the main like upsides of an 800-volt system are like, oh hello beep beep.
Hello.
The main upsides of an 800 volt architecture are like you generate less heat. There is less resistance. So you are not cooking every component in the car, which is like a big concern for longevity around EVs. And it's part of why I recommend them to people is because it's like, I think this will last notably longer. And there are not that many manufacturers that actually have full 800 volt systems.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla doesn't. They very noticeably do not.
Yeah.
The uh, Porsche, Audi have it. There probably are others at this point, but when I was like actively reviewing EVs and knew the scene, that was basically the only two. It's like Kia, Hyundai, and Porsche, Audi.
Is the Cybertruck not on 800 volt?
I believe that is a 400 volt architecture.
Fascinating. I will say we did lease because, we didn't want to do full used EV because we wanted something brand new. Especially something that had the new standard, which is the Tesla charger. But we did a 3-year lease because we're not against the idea of buying it out when the lease is over, but also I kind of want to see what the market looks like EV wise in 3 years. So yeah, we will have the car for at least 3 years. I don't see anything going wrong in that 3. I know that they were having early issues with the ICCU, which is their it was their routing system between the 800 volt system and the 12 volt system. Those were going pop all the time on early 5s apparently.
Yeah.
But there's a fix now, and ours has the new part, so I'm not.
All right, I'll issue a correction instead of having to do it in the notes. Apparently, the Cybertruck does actually use an 800 volt system by paralleling 2 400 volt batteries together, and then they did actually update the architecture for it, which I don't think is shared in any of their other vehicles, which is kind of funny to me.
No.
Which means that the most technologically advanced architecture for a Tesla is actually the Cybertruck. I know that I couldn't remember because the Hummer EV used 2 400 volt batteries linked together, and then it would work as a 400 volt system, but you could change them from parallel to series. I'm bad at electrical engineering, so I don't remember which way it was, but it would act like an 800 volt system, so you could dump more charge into it quickly because it's the only way you could recharge that battery in a human amount of time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't actually solve the underlying issue of, oh wow, you're cooking every component in the car when you charge it. So I couldn't remember if that was a Hummer only or a Cybertruck, and I guess the Cybertruck is 800 volt architecture. Okay, so I guess you could have gotten a Cybertruck.
Well, that was one of the reasons for the only reason I know that is because that is why the Cybertruck took an additional year, was because Tesla engineers couldn't figure out how to make an 800 volt system. But
they only beat the entire market by a decade, and they couldn't figure out something that Porsche was doing in 2020.
I think buying a Tesla at this point is a sign of cognitive impairment. When this car exists, genuinely, I am going to become one of those annoying women where it's just unless you absolutely cannot charge within 25 miles of your house, I don't think you have any fucking reason to buy a gas daily. I just don't. It's such a good car. It has warped my impression of other new cars. We poked around at a BMW i4. It feels like they made a last gen 4 Series electric. It doesn't feel like a new car. It feels old. Every Tesla feels old. It all just this is what the present should be. If you asked child me what a car for 2026 should be like, I would have picked the Ioniq 5, and also I would have gone, and surely this is $100,000, right? And it's no. Our lease is not a lot. I forget the exact number off the top of my head right now because I didn't throw it in my notes, but if you're shopping for a new daily, just go get an Ioniq 5. What are you, stupid? Just go, it's if you can have an EV in your life, or you want an EV in your life, I don't see a lot of good arguments being made for anything else. Like, sure, if you want the sedan, go for the i4. At least it's not a Tesla. But like, yeah, the 5 is just a joy. It's a happy car too, in a way that it's playful. I don't know. It reminds me of the fondness I used to have for all of the Mini Coopers that have been in my life.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
where it feels like no, it is a competent, happy little sporty thing, and it just wants to be there for you. And unlike any
And it can fit like 5 Transmen inside it.
yeah, we could put so many T-slurs inside that thing, and also it's not gonna go all British and or German on me electronics wise. So yeah, I feel
It's cool.
very good.
It's cool that the modern car market is such that basically this podcast's official stance is only Korean cars are actually worth spending new car money on at this point.
Yeah, and like
I'll be a Honda apologist forever, but like if you buy a Prologue or if you bought an Acura ZDX for the 20 minutes it was out, I am going to side-eye you. To be fair, that was also a Chevrolet Blazer, which I have been pretty vocally anti Chevrolet Blazer.
straight up mean about this episode, I would argue. It makes me weep for like, what were those Hondas going to be like? The electric ones they were going to build here. Because
they would have been so cool,
yeah.
I'm sure. In Earth 2, where like we've established like a socialist paradise, and Honda is like, just cranking out nice efficient EVs we charge off of our big solar grid that we've partnered with China to kind of like, put over every parking lot in the state of Texas. We're just exporting energy to the rest of the world. I'm sure that those EVs are lovely. I hope that those people on Earth 2 are having a good time.
Yeah,
because I'm sure not.
I really just, and not to start segueing into our next topic, but upon being an EV owner, lesser, I am immediately, it feels like I have the They Live glasses, and I can now detect when people are falling for like EV based culture war bullshit. Which is why I think all of you are fucking wrong about the Ferrari Luce. But Victoria, you want to take us away on that one?
Yeah, I should pull up. So, here on the show, I, over the weekend, was like, I think it would be funny if I did an official poll.
And you're all fucking
listeners.
sheep. You're all fucking sheeple.
Because Jordan and I have a disagreement. I suppose I should set up the debate here. Ferrari unveiled the entire Luce. We had seen the interior design before, which was designed by Johnny Ive. Which I also hated.
I'm back to negative on the interior of that thing. Did I tell you that I am back to negative on the interior?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's awful. But they unveiled the entire Luce, of which I had what I would describe as an immediate allergic reaction. It is genuinely, to me, feels like wrecker shit. It feels like they are intentionally designing the least ambitious, most boring EV possible so they can sell none of them and say, see, nobody wants these. Granted, they will probably sell all of them because people are just going to buy whatever so they can keep their allocations, because cars are just Rolexes now.
It's calling it an unambitious design is one of the craziest things I have seen in this entire talk.
Okay, so I did a poll about it on the Patreon, and I gave 3 options. I like the Ferrari Luce design. I do not like the Ferrari Luce design. A secret third thing. 25% of you like it. 58% of you do not like it. 17% of you told us in the comments, which was 188 comments. This is a much more widely voted poll. There were 651 votes in this. So I think we can just register as like a polling organization now. Move over, Rasmussen. We're coming for you. So I will, because I am being negative about it, I want to dunk on this first. Johnny Ive did the interior. Mark Newson did the exterior. Mark Newson did that Ferrari EV or Ford EV design, like in the early 2000s, where it was like, this is what the Apple car is going to become someday. They're like, this is their design partnership. Ferrari executive chairman John Elkann said about the Luce, "We are expanding what a Ferrari can be, not losing what a Ferrari is."
Yeah.
This car costs $640,000.
Mhm.
It makes some over 1,000 horsepower number through some combination of motors, and no one gives a shit because as we've discussed on this show in the past, once you get over 1,000 horsepower, it's all fake. That said, it will still get walked by a Xiaomi the XU7 or SU7, which has 1,500 horsepower and is like a full half a second quicker to 60. I think this would be an okay Nissan Ariya. Is kind of where I'm at on it. Like, they did this weird fuck-ass two-tone thing where the rear end looks like it is swallowing a much smaller, more attractively styled car, which is, like, again, a very, like, 2019 EV design. They did the coward's two-tone on the bottom where they black out all the lower trim to make it look like it's more svelte than it is. But they didn't even do that ambitiously. The only part of the car that I think has a somewhat interesting angle is the front three-quarters. The front air dam is kind of interesting and pays homage to like more ambitious concepts in the past. But the entire thing to me feels like the disappointment you get when you see a bunch of ambitious concept designs and then the real thing comes out. Like there is a larger delta between like the design inspirations for this car, which are indisputably like a bunch of like cool, ambitious 70s and 80s like wedge concepts, and this actual car, than there was between like the concept Prowler and what we actually got. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like by the time they actually made this through however many committees it had to go through, it's so absurdly boring. Like, the rear angle of this car is just like they forgot to style it. I do not understand how the rear section of the car from like basically the C-pillar back was designed. It is so wildly unambitious. There are so few like style lines, and really the only way they could figure out to like make it look sporty was to throw a black plastic panel on the doors, on the front doors of this car, which like I guess pay homage to like better Ferraris of the past, but in this case just look incredibly cheap. Like if you put a picture of this car next to a picture of, I don't know, take your pick, any number of like high-end performance Chinese EVs. I think the SU7 is a good example here. Or notably in the US, the Taycan, this looks so bland and so forgettable, and it feels like they have charitably just lost the plot. Uncharitably, I mean, really it is kind of like, yeah, we're selling an EV now, and look at what you made us do. We're gonna sell this boring, like, to me, I know you have a different take on this, Jordan, and I will wrap up so you can deliver it soon, but I just feel like the design brief here was, we are going to make an EV the way that culture war people think EVs have to be built, which is that they are all blob SUVs. And we can't do, like, I mean, Lotus has that incredible EV design supercar, Rimac got the crazy supercar. If you're going to do a first EV for Ferrari and prove that your cars are actually still special even without a combustion drivetrain, why would you not do that? Like, you're telling me that like your first foray into hybridization was the LaFerrari, and this is your first attempt at building a full EV? It looks like an ID4.
That is my
take.
Kind to
Jordan,
the ID4.
Jordan and I don't think have ever had a more intense disagreement about something that doesn't matter, which is why the show is fun. But like, you have a completely different view on it. Go for it.
And even then, I don't think this is like the most gorgeous Ferrari design of the last 20 years. I don't think it's the most gorgeous Ferrari design of the last year.
It would be the most gorgeous Nissan design of the past 5.
This is the argument that I keep seeing over and over again that's driving me fucking crazy. Everyone who is going like, oh, it's good if it's a blank, but not a Ferrari, then you're admitting it's good! You can't say that and also go, it is a bad design. That's not
Jordan,
that's not how this works!
Jordan, it's $640,000. If Ferrari came out with a car that was the 2008 Civic Si, I'd be like, damn, that would be a great Honda, but I am not paying $640,000 for a Honda Civic Si.
And I'm not paying $640,000 for a Ferrari. I'm just saying that if someone with eyes and an understanding of design language and heritage, I think it's good. It has design cues all over it from Ferraris of the past. So it is definitely it. I don't understand what John Elkins' statement. I think John Elkins a fucking idiot. Like, I don't think that guy's good at running Ferrari. I just think that he's not. He's like, we're expanding what Ferrari can be, not losing what it is. Which, like, yes, they're a publicly traded company. They're not owned by Fiat anymore.
They took a huge hit after announcing this EV, by the way.
Sure, they did, but also, like, I think it's good that they basically didn't just take a 296 body and make it electric and go, this is our EV. Because buyers don't want that either. These high-end supercar buyers, that Lotus didn't sell. Rimac can't sell cars to save their life anymore. It's just, no one wants an electric EV. If you're going for a supercar...
I mean, that is fair. I think both Aston and Lamborghini have canceled theirs.
And also the Lamborghini one was a huge crossover too, but that it just looked like a fucking Aventador on stilts.
But I mean, here's the thing, right? Is that like Lamborghini already made the Urus, so
Sure.
like I expect basically the worst thing ever from them at this point. The Urus is one of the if you were ranking automotive sins against design, I think the Urus just belongs in your top 10. It is genuinely hateful.
It is
Ferrari, like. I know I am not a huge fan of the most recent like F80, Testarossa revival thing. We talked about this before, but also like that's still trying to do something here. This is not.
We love the Ferrari FF in this podcast.
We do, yes.
I load up the Wayback Machine and look at every reaction to when the FF came out, and it's not kind.
I mean, okay, so I actually disagree because my cultural document that I think of in my mind for the Ferrari FF and why it has established itself in the mythology, internally for me as like this incredible Ferrari is Dan Neal reviewed it for the Wall Street Journal back when I was a fucking 15-year-old who read the Wall Street Journal every day because, I'm healthy and normal. And he talked about how much he loved it. He was like, yes, it's a little non-standard, but also it drives incredible. And like, it's, it's still very sexy. And I think the big thing is that if I stand next to a Ferrari FF or the F12, whatever, successor car to it, it comes up to about my belly button.
Yeah.
It is a shooting brake. I saw somebody standing next to this. I think it's about the same size as your Ioniq 5, if not bigger.
It's slightly smaller than their SUV, the Purosangue.
Yeah, and the Purosangue carries its weight better. It looks less like an enormous bar of soap. I hate the Purosangue. I think once you name your car Pure Blood, you have already lost the argument.
That's fair. I will say this is trying to be a family Ferrari in a way they have not done truly in a very, very long time. Because I don't even think the Purosangue is still that. That is just, hey, hello, Los Angeles residents. Do you want to... Is the Urus too common? Do you want to truly flex on him? The suicide passenger door, like the fact that both front and rear doors...
Yeah, the RX-8 doors.
The Mini Clubman doors. We could do this all day. It does feel insane to be in the role of defending this. Because I don't even think it's, like, great. I don't get where everyone's having this visceral negative reaction to it. I think a bunch of the colors they picked for the launch spec, bad. That yellow one with the yellow color matched wheels, that's heinous. The blue, I don't care for the blue. But when it's in Ferrari red, it is, one, unmistakably a Ferrari to me. And two, like, it does feel really weird to see, like, the most conservative men in automotive in the industry and some of my favorite people in the industry agreeing on this, because it does feel like I'm like, oh no, you're falling in line with the chuds. And I'm not saying that you have to like it to not fall in line with the chuds. I just think that maybe you should think about who's agreeing with you about this Ferrari being bad.
But this is the thing, right? It's like the chuds are like, oh, this isn't a real Ferrari, whatever. I don't. If I ever give any weight to what a chud thinks, I've lost already. I don't care. I just
you let the president make you mad every single day.
That's true. Donald Trump did appear in my nightmares recently,
cool.
which is probably a sign I need to log off the internet a little bit. But like, I think the thing for me is like if you are trying to sell people on the concept of we can do EVs and keep what makes us Ferrari, which I think is a crucial thing for Ferrari to do, which I think is also paradoxically the most woke position you can take, because if you actually want EVs to work, you have to convince people that they are actually like a worthy successor technology to internal combustion engines. They did this with all of their hybrids. Again, I lean on the LaFerrari, which, you know, stylistically, it's aging better than I expected. I think that like
it's had a
weird
a weird curve of appreciation to it.
That original trio of like 918 Spider, McLaren P1, LaFerrari were all extremely like that felt like the future. Like this is like, oh my god, hybrids are actually going to be like they're going to change the entire supercar game, and they have. And like if you are Ferrari and you're like, we're going to make our first EV, why would you make it a 5-seater bar of soap that just isn't like, I guess the thing about it, right, is like it's, you know, Rolls-Royce came out with their first like EV relatively recently, and it is a Rolls-Royce to its core, and they're like, we just subbed out the engine for batteries and it's smoother and quieter, and it's still a huge, enormous, imposing slab of like luxury and opulence bearing down on you as you nail a pedestrian in the crosswalk drunk driving home, because that's the Rolls-Royce vision,
being
right?
drunk
like,
driven by someone else home.
Okay, fair.
Princess Diana like, style.
Jesus. But like that to me is like, that is the way that if you are a luxury car maker, you do introduce your first EV, is you say, we have not changed anything about what our heritage is or what our like brand identity is, or we are not asking you to change your conception of us. We are building you an EV that fits into the world you already have constructed. And Ferrari doing this is like, it's insane. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm like, oh, it would be cool if it were something else, is because like it does kind of look like an Aria to me from the side profile. It is not, if you have a blank sheet and a $700,000 price tag and you are Ferrari, why would you develop something that looks like it has to platform share with like 3 other cars? Do you know what I mean? Like the new Leaf EV, I understand why it looks like the Leaf EV, because they have to make a bajillion of them. That platform is going to be used for 10 other cars.
Yeah.
It's going to have a 15-year life cycle. It's going to have like different motors and like it's modular. That's how mass marketing works. But Ferrari doesn't have to do that. And clearly demand is totally inelastic if they can charge $640,000 for this. So like, I think for me, it's just a matter of like, why would you be so unambitious unless you were purposely trying to like tank what people think of EVs?
I don't think it's I just disagree with the premise that it's unambitious. I think trying to expand the brand while also not hurting your gas line. Cuz what? They're not going to, no one who wants to buy either the is the Amalfi the Roma replacement? The Amalfi the 296.
You're asking me Ferrari questions, I don't know.
They don't want to touch anything in their existing lineup, so it has to be something new. Right? Because their buyers won't take... Think about how much their buyers freaked out when the 296 was using the twin-turbo V6 instead of the V8. And even then... Ferrari buyers are not good at those big changes when it comes to the core line. You have to do something like this on the side. And then, also, this is going to platform share. Because Ferrari, as much money as they have, Ferrari are independent now. And for every one of their EVs from here, yeah, of course they probably did the easiest EV shape first. But also, they want to sell these. They want to get people putting real miles on them with their families. And I don't see why that's a bad thing. It's a beautiful, it's not like
I would, do you mind if I quote friend of the show and previous guest and also kind of my boss from the other podcast I'm on,
yeah.
November Kelly. November saw this and also hated it, and she had a quote on it that I think was perfect, which is, there are two families who have spent a lot of time in a Ferraris together. Their names are Ferrari and Schumacher. If you buy a Ferrari, it should come with a trial separation agreement in the glove box.
Yes, that is from
the idea of a Ferrari family car as being your best foot forward with a completely new technology is just, why?
Because it'll get you the allocation for the next special thing. That's the real reason why.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
I know.
I think it's I don't think we could complain about, because it's either that or this bit, or Ferrari just never makes never innovates at all. Ferrari gets punished every time they try to do something new, and it is always looked upon fondly as soon as that era has passed. Like, do I think
I will find a hat and eat it if this car ever gets like a reappraisal and everybody's like, oh yeah, that was actually a high mark for Ferrari design.
I don't think it's going to be a high mark for design. I just don't think it's going to be bad. Again, I just don't think it's bad.
We haven't even touched the interior yet, which I can't stand.
After being in a different EV, and I know I was softening on the interior for a while, but like the interior is just, it's too Apple Store. The amount of people blaming Johnny Ive for the exterior has just been one of those other little clues that I am like, you all are just following things that other people said to get mad about, and
But Mark Newson isn't a good supercar designer. Like, I agree.
It's not a supercar.
Have misreported this.
It's a family car using Ferrari hallmarks of design.
Please fill in me doing Italian hand gestures. It's a Ferrari.
And Ferrari needs to change and expand what they are because they're an independent company who's not getting subsidized by Fiat anymore.
That's entirely fair. And I guess what I'm saying is that, like, capitalism comes for us all and destroys everything that was once holy. That's kind of where I'm at with this. It's like, I am not even a Ferrari fan. I don't, like, this is pretty... I think that if you are a Ferrari fan, if you're like, oh my god, the company's over, totally fair read from this.
No, because that's what people say anytime they do anything, and guess what? It's always fine. It's always fine. People, you see what logo it's got on it? It's the yellow little prancing horse. It's gonna sell. There's already a 3-year wait list for these, so it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. It's just like, this is where I'm like, and I also am just like, the people. It's like, oh, I bet if those Ferrari buyers could read social media for plebeians, I bet they'd be really upset to see what we're doing about their new family car. But guess what? They don't care because they need to buy one of these so they can get the 849 Speciale or whatever in 2 years.
I guess that's the thing. It's just like, if you're gonna do an EV for the first time ever, your goal should be to make it a bedroom wall car. Your goal should be to not to convince like your buyers, who increasingly will do whatever the fuck they have to get the next Ferrari, because again, demand is inelastic at the top end of the market. There is no world in which there will not be an endless line of billionaires waiting to buy this, because that's just how this market works. Like, that's why we don't have any cars at the bottom end anymore, right? But like, if you are Ferrari and you actually care about brand image, and you care about like the heritage of the company, right up there with motorsports should be, we build bedroom wall cars, and our most ambitious stuff needs to be a car that goes on your bedroom wall. And I cannot ever fathom, like, even again, the Taycan is just a much prettier car that seats 4 people. Like, I don't, and like, why? I don't.
But the Taycan is based on the Panamera, which everyone fucking hated when it first came out.
Okay, well, they were all wrong.
No, the Panamera is ugly!
I wasn't there! The Panamera first gen was ugly. The Panamera second gen was pretty good looking. The Panamera Cross Turismo.
Good. Absolutely.
Give me. I am a sicko for a shooting brake.
I am as well. I think that they didn't want to do an EV. And also, I don't think anyone is putting an EV on a bedroom wall. No one's lusting after Rimmix. No one is lusting after that Lotus. They're putting a gas engine in that Lotus body or something. They threw that design in the shitter. No one wanted it.
It was really pretty.
That doesn't mean people are going to want the EV. And that is the thing that I think we are all...
I don't want to get in the pod. I don't want to eat the bug.
As someone who just bought the pod's really good to drive, actually. Like, I don't know. Sure, I also still want something else, but, like, no one is buying this as their only car.
Of course not. It's $640,000.
But, like, I also wish it wasn't crossover tall. I wish it was also a shooting brake. I also just don't see why it's as controversial as it is, because they said they were going to do this. They said their EVs were going to be entirely afield from their existing lineup because they don't want to touch their existing lineup.
Okay, but, like, I mean, not to be, like, you know, too value-brained here, because it's a Ferrari and nobody does that, but you could buy almost 3 Lucid Air Sapphires that all have more horsepower than this, and accelerate.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the horse on it.
But I will say this. If you are a listener of the show who happens to have a Luce on pre-order, the funniest thing in the entire world for you to do would be to slap our bumper sticker on the back.
I'll send you a handful. I'll pay for it, buddy. You spend all that money on the Luce. Also, I have a spec for a Luce, which I think will blow everyone's fucking socks off. And it's the one I texted you, which is tastefully lowered. BBS fans. Black and gold fans. Dark red car. Mwah. Beautiful.
I think that I actually do. The only issue that I actually do have with that is, like, when you tend to lower cars that do the coward's way out with the black trim on the bottom, they don't look as good as you think they're gonna. Because again, like, when we had Kevin on, Kevin Williams, he talked about this, is like a lot of American cars kind of look like, you know, the Skechers shoes, where it's just like they've got this enormous chunk of, like, battery at the bottom, and it, again, for $640,000, I would expect them to package it better. And also, I mean, like, to be fair, they're like, oh, it's got a ton of cargo space, and, like, I know the Taycan is, like, doesn't really have that much, like, reasonable cargo space, but for the love of Christ, it's a Ferrari. I don't care. It looks like you are selling me, like, fact sheet comparison shopping with a Tesla Model Y stats for a Ferrari. How have you not already just realized you've lost? I feel like,
because as we all know, Ferrari went away after the 400i came out. Like, Ferrari makes bad cars all the fucking time. Like, this is the other thing. They are, guess what? Because even if there was even a hint that Ferrari was going under, Italy nationalizes Ferrari. Like, this is just where we're at. Like, Ferrari doesn't have to do anything. Ferrari's never going out of business. Ferrari is a t-shirt manufacturer that happens to make automobiles. Ferrari has been ruining Charles Leclerc's life for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years now, and he signed up for more because he knows that he gets to be basically king of Italy. I
will say, I think it was friend of the show Nolan Sykes who posted it. They yassified the Mondial.
That's what they did, baby. And let me tell you, I'd rather have the one that's electric and can't go all Italian on me. To be fair, this thing's gonna be. And again, I just think the exterior design isn't bad, and I think a lot of people who are saying it doesn't have anything to do with other Ferraris You're just wrong. It has design.
Yeah, that black plastic piece really looks. It has design cues. Okay, like I say, this is a huge apologist for the newest Integra. I love it. I think it drives incredible. I think it's a fantastic car. But the styling cues that were carried over, where they stamped Integra in the plastic bumper in the rear, like it's an embossed Integra. It doesn't look like an Integra otherwise.
This is,
like it's just a new car that it doesn't really share any lineage with the previous cars before it, because that's how time works. Like literally from one angle at the front, and the rear taillight design, which I still think looks more like a Chevrolet Impala getting vored than it does a Ferrari.
Is that the first? Is that the first time one of us has said the vor word on the podcast?
I think so. Yes. Congratulations, your podcast hosts know what vor is. I'm a furry. It would be impossible to not know.
Oh my god, the car and driver. Even if it's in the bad blue. If you open the car and driver art, is that front 3/4 bad? Look at me and tell me that front 3/4 is bad.
It is the only angle of this car.
You mean the one that shows all of the car, Victoria? Do you mean the one that's all of it?
Did you look at the rear end of the car?
The one that looks like it has 360 taillights? Yeah, it does. It looks good.
It looks... No. It's like the only cues in it remind me that Ferrari makes much better cars that are much prettier. I just think that it's like, it is the ultimate sin for a Ferrari, which is that it is kind of boring. Like, it has one character line, it's got the cool pass-through on the front, which is kind of okay. And again, if I saw this in like a car that cost $50,000 or $60,000, I'd be like, hey, that's pretty cool. But like, everybody who learns how much it costs is like, I'm sorry, how much? Because it looks like a car that costs half as much, and that is never with a situation. If the whole reason you buy a Ferrari is to be like, it's like the same reason why people buy those big fuck ass ugly Rolexes that say Rolex in like 300-point font, and it's like, this looks expensive. It doesn't matter if it's tasteful. It's showing off wealth. If your valet confuses this for a 3-year-old Nissan Leaf in the country club parking lot, you have lost.
I think we're making up a guy that doesn't exist in that world. Like, because there is no. I am looking at all the photos again, and I'm like, maybe in the middle of this discussion is when it breaks me, and I don't like it anymore. It's just good. It's like not the best thing that they've ever done, but also like they haven't done a truly wonderful design since they parted ways with Pininfarina. But like, I think the view from the rear is cool, but a little underwhelming. I think the front's really neat. The 3/4 is good. Like, I think it should be like $250,000, but also I think that's because the top of the market got so expensive so fast that none of us are like prepared for what like a 296 is way more than I thought it was. Like, do you remember a couple weeks ago when we were looking at 911 prices, and I know the top of the market has gone so crazy price wise, but it's just like, no one's cross shopping any of this.
No, but like, okay, so you pull up to, I don't know, what is the equivalent of Beijing's Wangan? If you listen and you're from China, please tell me. But like, you're rolling down Beijing's Wangan, and you're in your new Ferrari, and you do a roll race from 60 next to some guy who's got a Xiaomi SU7 that you could buy like 4 of for this car, and he just fucking curb stomps you. That's like, in an era where numbers are made up and this car doesn't even look that cool, that's like the ultimate final humiliation to me.
No, it's called, because then you look down, you see the big Ferrari logo on the steering wheel, and you go, I'm not doing that. Ferraris have been walked by. You were doing the Too Fast, Too Furious more than you could afford, pal argument. But like,
that's from the original Fast and
Furious.
Yes, but I do think that there is, but like, that's my point though, is that like that's the only stat left, because nobody cares if this thing fucking drives. Obviously, we've already ceded ground on that argument. Every EV, like, EVs can be good, but that's not even the focus anymore. The focus is how big of a number can you put in it and how fast can it go from 0 to 60. And it's like your Ferrari. Why would you make the coward black lower trim piece on your crossover SUV that it can't even keep up with a Lucid?
Because
Lucid!
it's
They're like a petrostate vanity project with like a they sell like hardly any cars.
they're in fact having to buy cars back. I don't think that's good, you know?
I mean, Ferrari's probably had to buy back cars well, they wouldn't have bought them back.
No, absolutely not. They would make
like,
they would make you just keep it forever. I'm interested to see how the first drive impressions go, because that's when everyone softened on the Puro way.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, okay. Here's the thing, though. As an automotive journalist, if you having seen like how rigidly car companies police their drive impressions, like I mean, for the love of Christ, like, Top Gear couldn't get a LaFerrari to do the three-way P1 918 Spider LaFerrari drag race because they were afraid the LaFerrari would lose.
Yes.
Like that's Top Gear. I mean, like, you can say Jeremy Clarkson could basically get away with, calling for the murder of an auto executive on that show, and they'd still give him cars. But, like, I have seen some shit in my time in the industry where if you mildly criticize a Halo car, it's a dangerous thing unless you are, like, one of maybe two people left on Earth. No one will give you an honest opinion about this car because the entire point of car journalism at the highest end of the market is to convince people who already the 3 years of buyers they already have for this that they have made an intelligent decision. And so, like, anybody who would be willing to criticize this, they would literally drag them out back after the event and shoot them. You're not even making it onto the
I
airplane.
just don't I think you have a dimmer view of this than I do, because I mean,
I have stories that I don't necessarily want to tell on a public podcast about what I saw in terms of policing what is said about cars, even valid criticisms. And I think
I
that,
got
like,
emails.
Ferrari, like,
everyone who's ever worked has gotten some email from a press person where you could tell that the press person is lightly drunk and has maybe been crying because they're so upset that you didn't like whatever thing that you just did or whatever.
But, like, Ferrari has the ability to kill you. I mean, like,
they would have killed Chris Harris in the early 2000s if they could. Yeah. Chris Harris has been banned and unbanned from driving Ferraris 3 times. They'll get over it.
Yes.
They always do. I genuinely want to know how it functions as a car, because again, they don't have Fiat. I think getting hung up on the looks of this thing is maybe the least constructive way that we could be sorry, I am so distracted because I'm on Car and Driver on my left screen still, and they have some man who I've never heard of doing a buyer's guide for the Urus in a pop-up video, and I just keep looking at it and I'm like, I'd still rather have the Luce than the Urus.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, but also, like, in the same sense that I would rather, I guess, crawl across broken glass than be lit on fire with napalm. I mean, like, we're kind of like, the scale is kind of degrades at that point.
I think the types of design that I have been intrigued with lately is leading me to like this. I am a big fan of blobby big thing. Nope. Why are you opening an email? Why are you opening an email, cardriver.com? That's not good, buddy. What did I click? Let me get off there.
I think that this is, once again, we have the two types of trans women on this podcast. AGP and no.
It is, the word cyberpunk has gotten beaten to death and left for dead, so I'm not gonna say that. But, like, as someone who has an appreciation for a lot of techwear and a lot of what Marathon 2026's design sensibility is, I look at this and I go, yeah, I think it's not their best design, but I think it is period appropriate for our current moment. it's too expensive. I bet the electronics on this for the first model year or two are going to be a fascinating mess. Because again, if this were if it would actually be far easier for them if they were still part of the Fiat group. Because to be fair, that is how you just do a compliance car that is a Fiat 500 EU with some fucking Ferrari badges on it. Which, that's, if they had not gone public, that's what this would be. And I think this is better than that. Because while we like the Aston Martin Signet as a cultural object, that's not a good car, you know? Like, I think we have to be okay with if these legacy makers are going to do swings and misses, but I think the more we let them do big swings, even if it blows up in their face, I think that's good. And I guess that's just where I'm at with this.
Okay, well, I think it's an affront to humankind, art, dignity, the Ferrari brand. I think that you would rightly be able to hook up a dyno to Enzo's grave and power all of Italy.
I think he would be just as pissed by the LaFerrari having a hybrid. Like, we have been saying
that's probably true, yeah. But the LaFerrari was fast!
This'll also be fast! No one's driven it, we don't know! Oh, I'm gonna have to do a whole hell of a lot to not get us just blow each other out constantly on this one.
I forward a question to our listeners: Is the Ferrari Luce AGP or not? Sound off in the comments. You look like you just puked in your mouth.
No, it's just. Listeners, I've been lightly sick for what feels like a month now, and then I was finally feeling better. And then we went to my dear friend's wedding, and then, of course, because it's a wedding with a lot of people from out of town, I'm lightly sick again. And I just yelled slightly enough that... I just yelled slightly enough to shake it all loose in my skull again. Victoria, would you like to end this episode on... What if we windmill dunked on someone together? Because I think that's where we're going.
Yeah. A moment of unity. A moment of unity. Well, while Ferrari works on the
I bet it's going to be dog shit to drive. Like, I bet the Luce is going to be dog shit. They let the Pope drive it. And you know who's...
Oh my god, Chicago Pope driving the Ferrari is so fucking funny because he's like still has to do Pope things, which are all Italian. But it's like, this is a 60-year-old devoutly Catholic man from Chicago. He doesn't have any opinions on this.
He's a car guy.
Give him...
He had a manual Ford Fusion.
Or he's a Cubs guy, isn't he?
No, I think he's a Sox guy.
Okay, give him White Sox season tickets or something. Let him go have some fun.
You heard about his manual Ford Fusion, right?
No, actually, really.
That's the wokest thing about him. It's his 6-speed manual.
Yeah, we're not doing woke Pope apology on this show. They are still trying to kill basically every trans person who needs medical care. So don't fall for that shit. It's still the Catholic Church.
They could be right about...
It's cool. I still think...
They could be right about some things, and unfortunately, they're still Catholic. Insert link to There's Your Problem episode about Catholicism here.
Yeah, I do think the funniest outcome for this is the American schism, in which J.D. Vance becomes anti-pope or whatever. But because nothing makes sense anymore. But I don't think that the Pope is actually woke. Speaking of not woke, there's our transition into our next topic. Have y'all heard about this little car company called Stellantis? I swear to God, our main goal on this show is to have a Dodge contracted.
I was about to say, you were talking about Ferrari killing people. Stellantis, there's someone in Stellantis's offices who have our podcast logo and are throwing just darts at it constantly.
Well, so have you heard of this small company called Ram?
Is that where Dodge spun off all of their trucks for DL gay guys?
Yeah.
Sorry, is that not woke to say that I've never met a DL guy who didn't drive a Ram? That's a Texas special. I don't know if that's national, but all the DL guys loved Rams.
Yeah, well, because they're drag for men. I mean, like, it's masculinity drag. Ram makes the trucks that you drive if you're trying to convince yourself and everyone around you that you are masculine as you commute from your office job back to your, like, Dallas suburb. And you know, are a little too scared to come out of the closet, which, you know what? You should just do it. Fuck it. It's better that way. But in any case, Ram announced that they're going to cram a Hellcat into the Ram 1500 short bed long cab, I think.
So they announced it's called the Rumblebee, which, like,
Jesus Christ.
It's a little cute. It's a little cute, but so they shortened the bed because they're trying to, like, Ram has had the TRX, which is the twister stupid Raptor thing. The Blue Lives Matter thing. Yeah,
horsepower and, like, enormous bill sheens and
like
36s on it or whatever, 37s.
But
whatever.
Like, they want to make a street performance truck again, which I don't think anyone's really tried to do in a while. Like, when was the last F-150 Lightning or whatever?
This spiritually reminds me of the was it like the Little Red Wagon or whatever performance special that Dodge came out with based off of the short cab Ram in, like, the late 70s. And the only reason that truck existed was because the EPA did not care yet about light truck emissions, and so you could get away with putting an uncatalyzed, you know, enormous fuck-off V8 inside of a pickup truck, and that was essentially a muscle car replacement. And this is just spiritually that. Except instead of, like, the EPA saying, like, no, you can't build the Charger anymore, they just stopped making it. And I think here's my conspiracy theory actually about this truck, which is the top version of it, the Rumblebee, because it's a whole family. It's got 3 different V8s because inline sixes are woke.
Inline sixes are woke.
Fucking Hurricane even though the Hurricane i6 is an extremely good motor, it pulls like a freight train. It's ridiculously smooth. It's good on gas for, like, a full-size truck. Ram synthesized this beautiful motor and then refuses to use it in anything because of culture war bullshit.
Here's the solution for what they should do with all those Hurricane inline sixes. Mate them at the crank.
Quad turbo V12 time.
I'll make your Hellcat look gay, buddy. It's called I've got a V12 in this. You know, they announced a bunch of other cars, which we'll get to. Yeah,
that's a future episode probably at this point. We gotta just have to do a second Stellantis special, 18 episodes into our show. But in any case, the Rumblebee family gets 3 V8s, 400 horsepower 5.7 liter, 470 horsepower 6.4 liter, and of course the 777 horsepower supercharged 6.2 liter Hellcat V8. And the top trim gets, like, the big fat chunky body panels off the TRX. It's just a street truck version of the TRX. Tim Kuniskis is, like, climaxing as he announces this.
Enemy of the show, Tim Kuniskis. He has at least in the article I saw, it's not a full quote. It is like one of those, you know, sometimes you gotta paraphrase someone and therefore throw in the quotes off as for the best. He was like, yeah, there's no market research to say if this is a good idea or not. And I'm like, Tim, I don't know if you should have said that out loud, buddy. I don't think that's what the markets want right now, is untested ideas.
So here's my conspiracy theory, right? Obviously, like, Tesla is the number 1 chud automaker,
which is crazy.
I don't think I need to
it is crazy,
that.
right?
I know. But the number 2, you know, so basically, I think that, and this is, I'm going to get a little bit real for a second. I think that we are witnessing the consolidation of, like, capital F fascism in the original form of the ideology, sort of recoagulating in the modern era. And a big component of capital F fascism is that corporations marry themselves to the state. like you saw this in Italy during like the capital F fascist Mussolini era with Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo was Mussolini's favorite. The state eventually ended up taking it over, and like a lot of why Alfa Romeo's experience in motorsports is so like they have such a shining record for the 30s is because they had the entire power of the Italian state behind them, and a totalitarian rule, which like benefited them greatly. And so I think that like there are automakers increasingly moving towards that end, and I think that the heads of the Department of now it's the Department of War. I think Pete Hegseth walked into Tim Kuniskis's office and said, "Hey, you don't have a large, expensive V8 vehicle with a 38% interest rate to sell to Marines who just got out of boot camp, and this is a national security crisis. We need you to build the money pit to shackle our troops to so that they stay enlisted for longer, because we still have to invade Cuba, and it's not even 2027 yet."
It's Pete Hesketh drunk 11 a.m. going to calling up the head of Ram, going, "Hey, there are a bunch of guys getting shot out of boats in the Strait of Hormuz. Can you make a truck for me to promise them? Do you think my mom's mad?" And then it's just like Tim Kuniskis is like, "Right on it, sir. Uh-huh." We're not gonna go into the whole Stellantis thing, but it does feel like this is the last gasps of a bunch of these. It feels like they're doing the charity bake sale to try to keep the lights on at Ram and everything, where it's like a lot of like, what spare parts can we get together? Also, Stellantis is calling this entire project of new vehicles to have completely refreshed showrooms by 2030. Fastlane 2030, spelled capital F, lowercase a, capital S, capital T, capital L, capital A, lowercase n, lowercase e, 2030, which I just... No spaces. I just wanted to say that out loud because I was looking at it and I'm like, I was looking at it in I think a Road & Track article, and I was just like, why did you call it that? Like, I was trying to like figure it out. I'm like, why is the A and N in E like that? That's nothing. It's nothing. It's all nothing. It sounded fury signifying nothing. The Ram method.
I'm really excited to see the first one of these, wide body and all, fully wrapped in the new ICE livery, which I think is kind of like the natural brand synergy for a Ram product at this point. And
those Grand Wagoneers were a little too subtle and gay, so we had to get something louder.
Yeah, basically Ram builds vehicles with a design brief of getting hard thinking about running over protesters. And so like this really does kind of fit everything I understand about the company. At this point, like it used to be kind of fun to rag on them. At this point, it is starting to get worryingly into, oh god, this is a very visual signifier of the encroaching fascism on all aspects of American life. And I'm kind of like, haha, that's really funny, while also keeping in mind that there's a decent chance I'm a blood stain on the front of one of these in about 2 years.
It's just deeply embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
It's just, and I don't know if I've lived through a time in my life where Dodge hasn't been some form of embarrassing. The mid-2010s, there was a little bit where they seemed not embarrassing there. But then they started putting the Hellcat in everything, and it wasn't just like this crazy one-off thing. And then it got embarrassing. Because, like, the last Viper was really good.
Well, and they're also, like, notably with this whole, like, wave of announcements, they're, like, it was, okay, also, just a quick change to a note I said earlier. It wasn't the Little Red Wagon. It was the Little Red Express. Because actually, Car and Driver specifically calls it out in this story. One of the things they announced, too, is like the Durango is going to live for another 10 years. And it's like, it's a fucking 15 or 16-year-old platform at this point already.
B-52.
The Durango is legally able to drive itself. It's so old. And it's like, could you seriously not come up with anything? And of course, the answer to that is no. Because, again, I really think that, like, there are different corporate strategies going on right now from each of the big three. Ford is still, who knows? That's a whole episode. We haven't done a Ford episode, and we probably should. General Motors is like, if we just fuck up enough times while really trying, we'll get another bailout. But it'll be the same rules as 2008.
It's a merit-based.
And I seriously, I seriously think that the Stellantis empire, or at least the Ram half of it, is like, well, we will simply get federal order contracts from ICE to build these to hit protesters with, and that is how we're going to survive. Because the U.S. is going to, in the same way that, like, Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern sent a gift basket to the White House and managed to, fully overhaul the railroad safety board or whatever fucking organization it was that they bought out so they could merge and create a enormous clusterfuck of a railroad that will destroy all commerce in America so they could make $10 more. I think that's the new corporate strategy. It's just like, if we send a gift basket to the right place and say the right things, we can survive anything. Not to be like, oh, I'm so prescient or whatever. But there was a story I did right before I left Motor One called The Cybertruck is America.
Yeah.
And I made the case that it was not necessarily because it was a good vehicle or that people wanted it or that it was commercially successful or well designed, because it is none of those things. No one wants them. They're stupid. They're hideous. They're not well designed. But increasingly, it was obvious the Cybertruck.
Hey, I'm taking a temperature on you real quick. Gun to your head, you must daily drive one for a year. Cybertruck Luce.
Oh, Luce.
There we go.
Easy,
there we go.
easy,
okay,
easy,
I just
easy,
had to establish baseline reality real quick.
I would rather have to walk over hot coals to every destination I go to than to be seen inside a Cybertruck.
I'd start a shotgun instead of owning a Cybertruck. Yeah, absolutely. I'd give myself the Kurt Cobain. Yeah, absolutely.
No, the Cybertruck is not desirable, but it is. Elon Musk sees an opening to marry his corporation to the state in the same way that, like, when green energy was like a thing that was progressive, he was nominally progressive. Like, Tesla got its start in large part because the DOE gave them a massive amount of money in a grant, which we should have given them. Like, that is, I mean, granted, I think in because I am a communist and take a very expansive view of government power, I think that the U.S. government simply should have invested in building its own green energy cars from a very early stage. I don't think we should have outsourced it to private corporations for the exact reasons that are all now incredibly apparent. Like, if anybody's ever like, why are you a communist? Gestures broadly. But, like, I think within the confines of, like, liberal democracy, it is a good thing to fund people who are doing things that are forward-looking and good for the future. But he was very progressive to that end, and I think that him trying to marry himself to the state, as it becomes increasingly right-wing and fascist, is a natural heel turn for him, Like, he has never stood for anything. He has stood for making money.
And I spent a lot of the early part of this episode talking about how the Ioniq makes sense, and because the United States government gave him all of that money for them to build out the supercharger network, guess who's benefiting from that? It's me. And I am going to be giving Tesla not money for a car because I love myself more than that, but, like, I have to use superchargers, and, like, their standard is the new standard, and that's okay. But, like, yeah, there's no one is doing anything in the automotive industry, especially in the American automotive industry, for a sense of common purpose. And it is, well, it's just, I see trucks like this, and, like, do I want to be a scold and say that, like, muscle trucks can exist? no. But I want trucks to be the size that the fact that this is a smaller truck than any other 1500 you can buy. What did I write? I write, so like, yay shrinkage, I guess, which like I the way that Ram and Dodge and a lot of Stellantis is trying to poise itself as America's ugly id of individuality right now is really something. Because
Yeah.
even if they are a truck that you go and do things in, they are they're a uniquely selfish product. And the fact that they're all V8s when they don't need to be is just, yeah, it's masculinity as a costume. It is, and I'm not saying they're not gonna let women buy these, but like, no woman, I will not meet a woman who will happily buy one of these. And if you're a woman who wants one, I'll email us.
If you meet a woman driving one of these, I guarantee you she has worse politics personally than like Kristi Noem.
It is Kristi Noem.
Genuinely just like the most heinous person you've ever met. I mean, I think part of it also is that like I'm sure there are some people who have the ability to still see things that exist in the world as completely devoid from American politics at the current moment, and we just don't see the world the same way. And if you have any knowledge of politics, this just is more, it's more anti-woke bullshit. Like, they started going with the V8 badge to proclaim the return of the Hemi because, like, the true American patriots took over from the you know, a light-footed, wimpy, effete European overlords and brought back the V8 everyone was clamoring for just in time for the, you know, Hormuz crisis. But it's so transparent and it's so fucking stupid.
Also, was no one at Dodge Ram willing to be like, hey, should we hold this announcement for a little while? Like, do we have to do this right now? Like,
now, crude is going to be by the time this episode releases, crude is going to be $110 a barrel. 2 weeks after this episode is out, it's going to be $150 a barrel. Gas is going. I'm calling it. You are going to see gas in major metro areas of $9 per gallon by the end of this summer. Like, it's obviously because there are no adults in charge. No one can stop doing brinksmanship, and we've lost the war, and nobody will accept that.
It is going to, because we've lost the war in a way that is going to be completely alien to Americans, because it's not like Vietnam. It's not like any of these other wars that we just soundly lost. It's
dust their hands, walk away, and nobody in the mainland ever feels like, nobody in the American center of empire ever feels anything aside from like, oh, we are sad about our troops that died. And really, like, Vietnam was the last time that was, like, a draft. Like,
Vietnam was the last time we forced men to go off and fight and die. And since then, it has been completely vocational.
It's a thing, like, the way that America conceives of its empire is it's a thing that happens elsewhere to other people so that we can drive trucks like this. And I think that, yeah, this fuel crisis is going to be the first thing. I think the second thing is going to be, as soon as this administration attempts to invade Cuba, and they find out that they can start chucking shaheads at, like, Miami condo buildings, that'll be the second way. Which, also, like, again, we are literally engaged in a legal genocide against Cuba at this point, with the severity of this and length of this embargo of basic supplies needed to survive. They are running hospitals off diesel generators, and nobody else in the country has any electricity for anything. And we're doing that because we feel like it, because Marco Rubio has a ridiculous hard-on for getting back, I don't know, some sense of, like, American dominance over, like, the Caribbean sphere. And so it's just like, we're just going to commit humanitarian disaster and kill a bunch of people because we feel like it. And at a certain point, the Imperial Boomerang is going to return to us. We are, you know, like, if you're somebody who is not, like, a cishet white person listening to this show, or even if you're, like, a cishet white woman, you've probably seen it already. But, like, if you're like, a cishet white guy listening to the show, and you're like, you know, things are bad, but, like, surely they'll be fine. You are about to find out you are wrong. It's gonna come back. You can't do this for the entire nation's history and not expect it to bite you in the ass. And in the same way that like a certain kind of performative right-wing asshole loves making a big deal about liberal tears, I am going to walk around with a big mug of coffee every fucking morning after gas hits $10 a gallon. That's just labeled "Proud King County Metro Rider sipping Ram 1500 Rumblebee owner tears." I like. Oh my god, I'm all riled up. Sorry.
No, it's correct because it's like there's it really is fascinating how disconnected from reality Ram seems right now. And like it's all of these automakers pivoting back to V8s and everything, but it's so, for whatever reason, Ram doing it feels the most like, hey, do your phones, do you get like outside internet access at work? Like, can you check the news? Like, it feels like they are horses with blinders on and they're like, how much is gas again? Fuck. Like, it really feels like no one told them. Like,
if I can relate a story that I think is like a little winding, but I think we'll get to a point that will illustrate this. So before I was an auto writer, before I was a podcaster, before I was, like a working photographer, I worked for NASA. I was a software engineer at Mission Control. I did like ground op software. It was nothing that like fancy. I worked in the building next door to the Mission Control building. So the one that's really cool, I worked next to it. In a windowless room that used to house servers and was blast hardened for a nuclear bomb. So cool. I didn't get cell signal in there. And I think, one of the things that was fascinating was like watching, we had no work from home. And so COVID meant that we had to work from home for the first time. And so like we didn't go home until it was like really time to work from home. And it was obvious that, we were going to live in a different world for a bit. And like that meant that there was a day, it was January 6th, 2021, when I was sitting at home and working, and on one screen I had like Zoom calls and my like whatever apps I was working on that day. And on the other screen was 9 different views of the US Capitol as it was being stormed. And of course I was losing my fucking mind because I was like, holy shit, this is a sea change in how I relate to America. Like, I think regardless of where everything shakes out, if that was a beer hall push, or if that was like the actual beginning of the cold civil war that we now live in, or if that was, like just another event that happened in the endless string of like Donald Trump presidency events that really trace back to like Bush's imperialism, that really go back to like however you conceive of it, I related to where I lived and the society I was raised in differently after that day. And I worked for a government institution, and I remember January 7th, 2021, when we did our morning stand-up call, and everybody was like, just completely normal. Like, we work for a government agency. We did not know who the president was going to be or what the line of succession was going to be. It was still very unclear at this point, and we all acted like, how are you doing on that app development? And I was kind of just, like, sitting there like, I guess fine. I mean, I didn't really get a lot done yesterday. I wasn't feeling very productive, and I kind of played into it because I didn't have the courage to like be like, "Hey, did you see that?
Dog
they
stormed
they
were gonna kill
Capitol.
My pet's dog."
And I feel like corporate, because America insists that its empire and its politics exist in a separate sphere from the rest of all of society. You get this really weird siloing that, when taken to its natural endpoint, is nobody at Ram felt comfortable enough to be like, hey, should we delay the launch of these 700 horsepower V8 trucks while gas is $7 a gallon? Because that is politics. Because like that's the Omni crisis, right? It's like it has come for us all and it has affected every aspect of life, but it's still in these people's minds, in the straight white guys who run these companies' minds, it is still politics and must be kept separate from work. And they are two different things, and that is how you end up with shit like this. It's how you end up with like so many things in the modern era, but like this is just this is the absurdity that America just is going to keep producing probably for another couple of years until either we get a realignment of things or things the contradictions just become so fucking intense that like literally nobody can function.
And that's I think that's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to put it. And like I the disconnect is, I think, becoming more and more apparent to your average person, especially
Yes.
as like, you know, the last time gas got crazy expensive, it was like, COVID. And there was like, COVID, I don't have fondness for lockdown, but I do have fondness for my 2020 feeling of, I think we're in the cool zone and I think it might go our way. As opposed to right
Yeah.
now, I'm like, we're in the cool zone and ooh boy, it's not going our way right now.
Yeah, we're losing the cold civil war.
Yeah, we're losing the cold civil war. And also, I don't even we are the re-election of Donald Trump is going to be one of those things that maybe I think will signal an end of something, and I don't know what that
Yeah.
something is, whether it's capital A America or if it's just the last gasps of a neocon moment in our lives. Hopefully, right? That's the
I
nicest.
mean,
That's the nicest possible world,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it was when I was talking to like other game store owners and they were complaining about tariffs, and then one of them revealed that's like, well, I voted for him, and I was just like, you're the reason why this is all expensive. And they're like, well, I didn't choose that. I'm like, you elected the guy. You did this. Like, you can't, like, you don't get to go like, I didn't know it. It's why every New York Times, like, they're like, these undecided voters. I'm like, no, they're embarrassed Republicans. No one in the year of our Lord 2026 is a centrist. Guess what? You're a Republican. Are you a DNC Democrat? Guess what, buddy? We have a name for what you are. It's called you're a 2012 Republican. And that's okay. We just need to be honest about what we're doing. And
I will take a bolder stance. That is not okay.
Sure. I mean, okay. And
no, I know.
Mittens Romney was at least not this guy, right? Like, Mittens wouldn't have done this. Mittens has a business degree. He would have known better. But I don't know. When the median Republican is Holden Bloodfeast,
yeah,
we are going to make trucks for Holden Bloodfeast, and that is that is the Rumblebee.
I think the only way that this product reveal could have been better is if they rolled it out onto the octagon in front of the White House for the July 4th UFC match taking place on the front lawn.
You saw the Dana White video, right?
No. What?
Yeah, didn't Dana White do a video in one of these already? Didn't they? I think they literally... Hold on. Dana White.
Jesus Christ. I can't even parody how stupid... I'm so deep in the shapes place that I'm
Dana White is the face of the teaser campaign by Ram Trucks for the upcoming 2027 Ram 1500 Rumblebee.
I can't believe it. Everything is so stupid.
We were born loud.
Is so stupid.
Dana White gets it. Nothing stops Ram.
So there are PR people at the Stellantis Corporation who in 2022 or something. Oh wow, Jordan. Yeah, I don't know about your shaped place, but I'm getting like fucking dodecahedrons and shit in here. I'm far gone. There are people at the Dodge Motor Corporation who took issue with when I called the Dodge Challenger the official vehicle of the Charlottesville attack. And I would just like to state for the record that I am the most vindicated woman alive. That Dodge and Ram are basically vehicles for right-wing terrorists, but they are now no longer right-wing terrorists. They just run shit.
Yeah.
I guess all I can say, if you're buying a Rumblebee, is like, we will make no excuses for the terror when our turn comes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put you in a 30 horsepower pod. It's gonna make it. You're gonna get walked by like an Azetta, and you're gonna fucking like it.
I genuinely, I cannot.
During our cultural revolution, we will be burning these things in the street.
In Woke 3, I will make it illegal to own a pickup truck. I don't care anymore. No one gets one.
You need a special license.
Just like to use farm gas, you gotta have all of the paperwork and you gotta be putting product out. If I don't see you at the farmer's market, we're shooting you in front of your kids. Like, I'm maybe not. We have to draw lines.
I think that we should abolish the death penalty unless it's the EPA. The EPA should be able to come to your house and kill you.
We need Liam's dad. We need Climate Stalin now.
Somebody emailed the pod to be like, have you seen this shit with Whistling Diesel? Because he's a influential YouTuber who keeps like circumventing EPA laws and then makes himself out to be a big like victim because he broke the law and they got mad at him for it. He's so lucky because if I ran shit, he wouldn't be making videos anymore. He would be living under the prison for the rest of his life.
I'll let him make YouTube videos from the yard. I'll let him make videos from the yard. Hey.
Anti-carceral except for the EPA.
Yeah. I'm so mad about everything.
I'm so furious. This is good, because like I feel like a good current events podcast for us needs to have our blood so hot. Because there's just, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't, like, for me, this is actually cathartic, because it's like, I am so mad all the time. Like, the day that we're recording this, like, is, like, I don't know, day 3 into the protests outside the Delaney Detention Center in New Jersey, and they're, like, beating the shit out of people and throwing them from semi-trucks, and, like, there's so much to be mad about that, like, being mad in an automotive context feels kind of like a reprieve, where it's, like, I really enjoy the, like, therapeutic benefits of being, like, this sucks and is really stupid, and really, ultimately, as, you know, like, with our discussion of the Luce, it doesn't matter. I knew you would probably like it. You probably figured I would hate it, and that's what makes the show fun. But this feels like a nice way to kind of get out all of my furious feelings and rage about the current era on like the perfect avatar for it. So I look forward to never being invited to anything. I look forward to not being able to step foot in the state of Michigan ever again, because there's like a hitman with just a picture of my face inside his Ram Rumblebee that just says shoot on sight.
Stellantis, but we're so nice about Alfa Romeos, though. That's what you got. Yeah. They've got to hand it to us. We're not their total enemy.
Well, and also, like, I mean, I like Peugeot.
We like Peugeot
GS.
here. Yeah.
I like their European cars for the most part ish. I just think that, you know, you stop building trucks for ICE, goddammit.
Stop building trucks for ICE. Victoria, like, good news.
What?
The White House isn't promising to release Trump's medical report from this visit to Walter Reed today.
Oh, cool.
Which is probably good and normal. Maybe it'll happen.
It's one of the funniest things that I have talked about with a lot of people recently, and people who I would say are like, obviously, I am pretty far left. I don't think there are many Americans who would describe themselves as communists, because it's 2026, and, like, most people, you know, that's just, we've lived on the wake of, like, a century of trying to suppress communism in America, so, like, it's not exactly a position that gets a lot of airplay. But even people I talk to who I would describe as pretty reasonable, sort of, like, DemSoc types, or, like, just kind of, like, well-informed, even moderately informed liberals who, you know, I think want things to be better, maybe would probably disagree with me about the ways in which to come about it, but see that things are wrong. Every single fucking person has a goddamn bottle of champagne in their fridge labeled for when it happens.
For when it happens.
It is, there are two Americas. You either have a champagne bottle, or you are like the person who just broke the lever in Texas voting for Ken Paxton because you were like, 110% Hitler? Sounds good to me. And again, you're never having a hamburger again. I'm making you sit in the EV pod, and you will fucking like it. And the thing is, you will, because you'll be like, oh damn, it's so cool living in a society where I'm not scared of everything all the time. After we abolish Fox News.
I have, as a former Texan, I have zero opinions other than Ken Baxter is one of the worst people to ever live, and also, unfortunately, James Tallarico.
Yeah.
I keep thinking you are failed video game man Tommy Tallarico, and that's not doing you any favors. I keep thinking you were the Roblox oof guy, and H Bomber guy has told me that you need to be killed. It's such a weird time to be
sentient
alive. This podcast is maybe one of the only times that I feel very clear-eyed in my convictions. You were talking about, I think about beloved mutual of mine, user cardiograms on Blue Sky. Her amazing post, we are really going to have to let people invent communism from first principles and call it something else because it'll work. We just need to, like, the branding on communism's just done. We could just call socialism, don't worry about that. That's also cooked outside of Europe. It's just like, we
call
gotta...
it burgerism. I don't give a shit. Do a burger and sickle flag. I don't give a fuck. Just, please.
It's just... community burger, and everyone, it's a planned economy, and it's how we make sure everyone gets their burgers on time. Isn't that nice?
We should go back. We can just call it what was it? Cybermetrics. Cybernetics? I can't remember what it was called. It was the, like... it's cybermetrics. That was like I always get it confused. But that was like the centrally planned phase. Cybernetics. It was the like basically the early like research into how would you do a centrally planned economy with computers. It is in the Wikipedia part of the series on cyborgs under cyborgology. But it's pretty basically cool. A way of like trying to model an environment and then, building things that would interface well with it. Very simplified. It's cool. I don't care. We can call it whatever, but like I'm not changing being a communist, so
I just want things to get any amount of better and no amount worse. And I think I'm gonna get a lot worse and maybe no better. And that's God. I'm kinda running on empty, at least, much like all of these V8s and these fucking trucks will be running.
Yeah, I've been borrowing my friend's S70 T5, and I had to put $25 worth of gas in it, and I've gotten, like, I don't know, 60 miles out of that, and I'm just like, what the fuck, dog? Like, this country is basically predicated on, like, we will endlessly oppress every single minority here, and perpetually immiserate the rest of the world, but the car juice is cheap.
Not for long. Unless it's delicious kilowatts after peak hours on a charger.
I do think it's awesome that like you managed to time this perfectly. You're basically on the last chopper out. You got the Ioniq at the cheapest it's ever going to be ever again, while you could still actually get one.
There's money on the hood. I was expecting our lease to be bad because the tax credit's gone. Nope, Hyundai just made up for the tax credits on their own. It's fine. They know what they're doing. Or they don't know what they're doing, actually. Well, it's okay. The other car I want for a purely podcast fun dumb shit is that does still take gas, unfortunately.
Julia
and let me tell you, it's not a C8. It's not going to be a C8 in this economy. No. They're not going to let me service them because of what we said about their other brands.
putting out a service bulletin that's just pictures of us. Don't let them walk in your dealership. There was a previous time in my life where I was trying to find like a normal job, and I did interview at like the Sole Alfa Romeo dealership that holds down what used to be a historic car dealership area in the middle of the neighborhood. And I do sometimes imagine like what they would think of this. Like, hey, did we interview that lady? That's crazy.
I just keep thinking about how many transsexuals you would have sold Alfa Romeo Julius and Tonales and everything had they give. You would have been their best saleswoman, and it also would have been completely inscrutable who you were selling it to compared to their usual statistics.
Well, in any case,
that's a fucking podcast, Victoria.
That's a podcast. I was just gonna say, thank you for everybody who ordered shirts and stuff. They'll be on their way soon. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry about not having a regular episode last week, but doing 5 episodes a month is a lot of work. So I think 4 episodes a month is more sustainable, and we can spend more time like watching movies and stuff this way, which I really wanted to do. Our bonus episode last week was Ford versus Ferrari, and we both did a kind of movie review. Again, we took very different conclusions from it. I think it was really entertaining.
I think Jordan, it was good.
Jordan and I just have like fundamentally like the same worldview, but we have very different interpretations of things despite that. And that's, I think, what makes the show fun. Because so. Like if you were like, no, I love the Ram, I don't know if the show would work. I won't lie.
Yeah.
But also I don't think we'd be friends then.
No, we're very different women while also being very similar women. We'll see how that works when I end this file.
Uh-oh, what's up?
After we reached about 2 hours and 3 minutes, Reaper has made a hard break in the file, and I can no longer see my waveform for the first hour of the show.
Okay. It's probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine. I'll probably have to dig into it, but looking over and seeing half of my waveform completely blank when it's been recording the entire time.
Maybe it's out of RAM or something.
Stressful.
Just buy more. You can just buy more RAM.
Buy more RAM. And not the suit Rumblebee.
I was going to read off our names.
As you should.
We have a $15 tier on this Patreon, where I read off people's names and thank them for supporting us. And also an extra thank you to everybody who helped buy me slide film for my book project. I really appreciate it, and I've been shooting it nonstop. I've been doing shoots literally every day this week. It's making me go slightly insane, but it's really fun. But in any case, I will now read off the $15 names. Thank you very much to Alex K, Jason Hudson, JD Santos, Jeremy Tanner, Faith K. Faulkner, who
JD.
also makes like...
Buddy, you don't have to pay for the show, but thank you. It's my that was my Maiden of Otters. That's Elisa's husband.
That's so sweet. There are people in this who also pay for it that I'm like, you don't have to, but they do, and I do appreciate it. Faith K. Faulkner, who also has like a cool like gaming-esque project that's worth checking out. Anyway, Deluxe, Katrina, Sloppy Head Enjoyer. Who among us, really? Ember, Crucible's Champion. The People's Pillow Princess. That's a good one. Mimi, Bean, Bree Henry, Sable, James Gilbreth, Charlie Stengel. Where are you, Mary Barra? I just want to talk. I think it's the same person who still wants to say I just want to talk about replacement Spark EV batteries, but they cut off the name in the audience thing. No, I need the whole name.
Boo. Boo.
Where are you, Mary Barra? I just want to talk about Spark EV replacement batteries. I figured you still had the same username, but I did also think that there was a small chance there was a second person who wanted to talk to Mary Barra about something.
The federal government.
Theodora Constantine, John V, Buick, Adam Shepard, Stephen Duckworth, Phelan, Mildly Perturbed, Asherin, Chris Hepner, Jerry at homogameragenda.com, Dexus, Tara Hailstorm, Will, Steph Schrader. Oh my God, thank you, Steph. Steph we should just have on.
We just need to have Steph on. Yes, absolutely.
Princess Reese, dog-eared receptionist. That's a cute one. I like that one.
No longer a puppy girl, now a dog woman.
Yeah. Emma Alex, a combination of spite and medically concerning number of 20-ounce Red Bulls. Jet fuel can't melt these dreams. Nathaniel Hubble, Saturday's Claire. Wingsmith will continue to use Molly paste as eyeshadow until Victoria looks up what it is. Fair enough, honestly. Penile sparing vaginoplasty. Miss Cigarettes. Good one. Sylvia. Finn Springs. Schlabolius. I'm sorry. Schlabolius. The bisexual funkinator. With a classic ASCII emoticon. That's a good one. Julie E. Aguilar. Gavin G. Wiz. Team Radar Love. Who has given me a Buick wagon enough times he never needs to give me $15, but will continue to do so because he's a wonderful person. RC Duke, Crystal Storm, John Russell, Josh J, and Selectric. Thank you all so much. There are a lot of you now. I'm extremely humbled and flattered.
That number keeps going way up.
I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoy the bonus episode. Please let us know if you are a subscriber what you would like to hear for next month's bonus episode. If you'd like more movie reviews, I saw somebody say that we should put out a poll to vote on what movie we watch, and I'm kind of into that actually.
I'm into that too. I'd be down to get a list together and let people vote from the list.
Yeah.
Also, if you miss commentaries, let us know. We wanted to do something different because we realized other than the Fast and Furious movies, a bunch of car movies are not really great commentary watches.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to be doing bits as we watch like Ayrton Senna burn half, or not Ayrton Senna, Niki Lauda burn half to death in Rush. Which is when we were kind of like, this may not be comedy gold here.
Or it would be, and we would never be allowed in the nation state of Austria ever again. But yeah, we said the housekeeping thing of we're doing just 4 episodes flat a month to avoid burnout, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
4 episodes a month. So it will be 3 mainline episodes that are free, that are about current events, and 1 episode that is bonus only, that is about something else. Ideally, something that stays relevant for a longer time, so when people sign up, they can go listen to the back episodes, because that's always kind of fun when you set up for a new podcast.
And who knows? We're definitely not ever ruling out going back to 5+ a month, but also, I still have a day job, and Victoria has been very busy with the book, so it's just really not super feasible right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, your girl has a little mental health, which does mean that she signs up for a lot of things because she wants to help and do lots of stuff, and then realizes, oh god, oh fuck, which is totally a me thing, but that is the nature of me. But in any case, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.